we are not in the Lokad office. We are in Roubaix. We are on the logistic platform of Redoute. Redoute has been a client of Lokad for quite a while. And I am pleased to be actually invited today by Christelle Gauthier. So Christelle, you are the director for essentially apparel and fashion, the world segment at Redoute. Could you tell us a little bit about your current position? What is it that you do and what is it that you manage?
Yes, I have joined Redoute in 2019. So I'm the business director for fashion. I'm responsible of the assortment of apparel globally, and I manage the profitability and the business in France especially. Fashion
and apparel, it's actually fairly complex. I mean, obviously there is a period with the last couple of years where it has been slightly insane, but even, in regular times, you have collections, you have a rate of renewal that is very important. And on top of that, you have quite a large platform. Could you present us a bit the sort of key challenges that you face, that you have to manage to just, keep essentially fashion and apparel flowing and customers being served?
Yeah, first we have a high historical history in fashion globally at Redoute, and we are well known in France and in international for that. Right now, we are a unique platform with home and fashion, with these two pillars, and we propose to the customer a large portfolio of external brand and an internal brand dedicated to family, with a very strong positioning in terms of CSR, with chic à la française style, and very affordable prices in order to be accessible to the whole family.
In terms of orders of magnitude, I mean, obviously it's thousands of products we're talking about. What is kind of the scale of the challenge? Because people don't necessarily realize that it's the sheer scale of the problem. I mean, obviously here we have a pretty gigantic facility, but if you could give us, a few numbers so that the audience could grasp.
The teams manage a lot of references, that is to say more than 18,000 color references a year. And above all, we renew the assortment about between 70 and 80% a year. So it's very important.
And so Lokad with Redoute, we started together essentially a pricing initiative a while back. So I have my own approach on pricing, which is much more mathematical and quantitative. The audience who is following the Lokad TV channel can get, I would say, the mathematical theory out of my own lectures. But I would be very interested to have your perspective on what is exactly the sort of pricing strategy or sort of thinking that goes into pricing for fashion at Redoute.
So first of all, prices remain one of the most important criteria of choice for customer in fashion. And it's going to be maintained in the following years. So we have a challenge to manage this very sensitive data, and we are very happy to have built a partnership with Lokad in order to help us to manage very precisely this data. There are a lot of things that have an input on this, that is to say the evolution of legislation, the promotional pressure, and the stake to manage the margin and to manage the product flow. So we need a tool in order to manage all these references and with all the stakes we have globally.
And I would say the sort of image that we have in the media about fashion is that it's all about creativity, design, and so people that are incredibly, insightful in some ways, blind in others. That I would say the sort of archetype of the person working in fashion. Look at my own teams are very much quantitative. They are engineers, and so essentially we did introduce in your workflows, in your processes, elements of fairly quantitative numerical recipes. And I surmise that it was quite a change to manage. So Obviously, La Redoute has over the decades reinvented itself over and over to become the European leader in e-commerce that it is today. But if you could give us, a few words from what is your perspective about this sort of conduct of change that did happen with the introduction of essentially quantitative techniques, not necessarily AI, but at the very least something that was very numerical in nature and automated to some extent.
With Lokad, we have built a tool that was based on human input. I think it's very important. It's based on 100% human input boosted in a machine. That is to say that at the beginning, we have had great times in a construction mode with explanation of calculation, with discussion, with round trips. And right now we are more in a run phase with human and the teams that are on supervision and all the data, and they only come to adjust the information that Lokad can't know. That is to say, for me, it's a partnership between data and human all the time.
And so, obviously predicting the future is incredibly difficult, especially in those times, but what do you see for the decade to come for fashion at La Redoute? Do you see essentially more complexity, less complexity, more data, less data? What is the overall trend in terms of evolution of changes?
The environment moves more and more quickly, and a big challenge for the future is to be agile, to be adaptable, and to make the supply chain more pertinent and efficient. So I'm convinced that the data is key for the future, and we have to manage and pilot the data the best as we can in order to adapt to the up and down of the market, to have the best view we can regarding our margin, our product flow, and as we have said, as we manage several thousand references, it's not possible without a tool with data.
And so in closing question, what is it that you seek in terms of maybe top qualities for the people that you are hiring? I'm asking this question because part of the audience, we might have people that are, let's say, young, talented, with the ambition, maybe a bit of technical background, not necessarily that those people didn't necessarily see themselves as going for fashion, maybe it was, but nonetheless, it appears that there are, I would say, maybe opportunities. So what is it that you seek in terms of qualities in order essentially to decide, to take them or not?
First of all, don't forget that even if we speak about fashion and data are always linked, because we need to monitor the assortment, and the success is not possible without a very precise monitoring of all the KPIs. So be curious, be rigorous, be open-minded, be audacious, and be attentive to all the development of the market in order to adapt and to be agile regarding the environment.
Christelle, thank you very much for having me today. It's a pleasure.